competition, and when you draw a fellow Premier League rival, even at home, there will be memories still, players involved in this game and sitting on the bench watching, who were in the wrong end of the result of that Champions League final between the two English clubs that we're watching in action today. Well, since the clubs met on Thursday evening, the football family, and especially the Chelsea family, are in mourning for the late Gianluca Vialli. Black armbands on display, and real outpouring of grief. Luca had a stellar career, as many of you will know, with Italy, in Italy with Sampdoria and Juventus, and then came to Chelsea, illuminated Chelsea as a player-manager, then as a manager, and a lovely person, witty, charming, taken from us at the age of just 58.
Manchester City is deeply saddened by the passing of Gianluca Vialli, and we join Chelsea in sending our thoughts and condolences to his family and friends. Luca, who played 59 times for Italy, joined Chelsea in 1996 and became their player manager in 1998. Under his stewardship, they won the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Community Shield, the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Champions League. He will be greatly missed. There will now be a period of applause in his honour, which will begin and end on the referee's whistle.
He has left a huge gap in the football family. A truly special person on the field and off it. So here we go. It's not just the second meeting in less than 72 hours, it's the third meeting in a spell of 7 games. The other match was in the League Cup here early in November before the World Cup. And Manchester City won by 2-0. Riyad Mahrez scored in that as well, as he did in the Premier League game on Thursday evening. So it's another battle of the Blues, Stuart.
Certainly is. And Chelsea actually played well in that game in the Carabao Cup, particularly in the first half. Man City eventually won the game, but it was very tight.
And Walker going in quickly and powerfully. He just played the first half of the league game because he's only recently back. He did play for England in the World Cup and played against Mbappe and played well in the game that England got knocked out in the quarter-final. But he hadn't played for his club since early October with groin surgery. Touched by Ziyech. And here is Walker. Back to Moreno. And Eric Laporte has recovered from injury. Ruben Diaz is still out. I'm never quite sure how Pep Guardiola is going to set out his front six, particularly with the likes of Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. They can play pretty much anywhere in that department.
At the moment, I think they're playing as we expected them to, with Palmer out on the left-hand side, Mahrez on the right, as he always is, Alvarez through the middle.
And here's Bernardo Silva, looking for the World Cup winner. He made such a difference with the likes of Alexis McAllister and Enzo Fernandez, younger players who came into the team during the competition. And some freshness around the great Leo Messi. Gomez, the left back. I think Palmer's been in and around. He's a Manchester lad. It's a high-promising under-21 international. Half getting away. Conor Gallagher. He's had lots of loans, but now getting a chance to be a Chelsea player. He's always belonged to it's a local club for him. Right near the Chelsea training ground. Havertz. Jorginho.
Yeah, easily read by Laporte. Conor Gallagher making that forward run as he does so often when he's playing for Chelsea. When he was playing for Crystal Palace. Scored some wonderful goals. Vieira.
Here's Laporte. And FA Cup debutant. Akanji. Foden. Forward by Rodri, who's kept going. Foden. Jorginho covering the run. Trevor Chalobah, another of those who's back in the team. Chelsea fans who think he should have been back in the team a bit earlier, but Graham Potter piecing his way through knowledge of a big squad. He's needed many of the squad, including this lad Lewis Hall, who did play in the League Cup game here from the start, had a couple of good chances, and certainly left an impression. And this is the debutant today, Bashir Humphries.
He's going to play on the right-hand side of the two centre-backs. He's already shown his pace on one occasion when Alvarez made a run down the side. He got out there quite quickly.
And Koulibaly played on the left-hand side at Nottingham Forest from the previous league game, and on the right-hand side of Thiago Silva against City on Thursday. He's flexible in that respect. Here he is, his first season at the club, of course, as well, and he's given the ball away. And Palmer couldn't make anything of it. And here's Gallagher. Ziyech looking for Havertz. He's up front again. It's not always his position of choice. He's one of those who like to play behind another striker. Of course, Raheem Sterling is one of those who's missing, the former City player who was injured after 3 minutes against his old club on Thursday. Not long after that, Christian Pulisic, the USA international, also had to leave the game and is in contention today. Guardiola saying, oh, well, we might be at home, but this will be tougher. And it was a bit of managerial psychology. It was a very important win for them on Thursday in the context of the Premier League. They're chasing another London club, Arsenal. And here they are again, head-to-head with one of the capitals chosen in Chelsea. Bernardo Silva. Morris standing down beneath his hands on hips, just taking an early breather. He has been in the team a lot recently, but he hasn't always been in his best form. He's been that Mahrez on the right, Jack Grealish on the left. Oh, there's a to make Ortega hurry. Goalkeeper arrived on a free transfer from Bielefeld in Germany.
Sergio Gomez playing as the left back today. Like all Man City fullbacks, he will drift in field at times. Chalobah winning the ball off Palmer.
Sergio Gomez is a Spanish under-21 international. He's been around mostly in cup games, has played in the Premier League as well. Got sent off in a Champions League game against Copenhagen.
look at the positions of Mason Mount and Ziyech at the moment. They're not going really wide. They're playing almost in an inside right, inside left position behind the main striker. Havertz going for the ball over the top.
I'm really pleased to have Mount back. It's the first time he hadn't been involved in a Chelsea game all season, starting most of them. He used substituting those he didn't start. It's a training ground injury. It can't have been too serious, as it happened on Wednesday, and here he is playing on Sunday. We do see the risk and reward situation of playing out from the back. Havertz thought he could nick the ball.
Not all goalkeepers are as good as Edison on the ball, so a lot of pressure on Moreno. I saw Zach Steffen really struggle in a cup semi-final where he gave possession away on a couple of occasions against Liverpool.
Rodri is a key figure. He takes responsibility, and in doing so he takes one that's caused him a bit of pain.
Seems to be that much contact, maybe just still on his toe. Havertz.
Rodri, of course, played as a centre-back for Spain in the World Cup.
And actually did it very well, both defensively and on the ball.
It's a useful tool, really, for Pep Guardiola. He can drop back in. He's quite comfortable receiving the ball in that kind of situation, but it wasn't comfortable. And a millisecond later, Havertz arrived.
I'm surprised he hasn't played at centre-back more for Man City, because over Guardiola's coaching career, he's often played a midfield player at centre-back. Mascherano for Barcelona, Kimmich for Bayern Munich.
It's often said of Pep Guardiola, he liked outfield players or midfield players, and maybe a goalkeeper can play midfield as well. And Edison, he probably has got one. He's not playing today.
Just need a forward run here, Manchester City. A lot of play in front of Chelsea. As at some point it's got to try and make a run in behind the two centre-backs.
Oliver's got a problem now. Walker. Mahrez against the youngster. Lewis Hall, and he's past him, and he pick out. There were plenty arriving in the middle, but that's good handling by Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Good play, Mahrez. As you said, skip past the challenge, saw the space in behind the young fullback. This is the touch that makes it. Across, Hall who dives in. Koulibaly gets very close to him, so it's difficult for Mahrez to pick anybody out. She tries to play it between the legs.
The touch actually helped Kepa, didn't it? Alvarez moving in menacingly. Gallagher went to the World Cup with England, but didn't get on the field. It was a wonderful learning experience for him. He's really trying, always had the ambition. He's been out on loan to establish himself as a Chelsea player. Chelsea could lose in both domestic cups to the same club for a second year running. Liverpool it was last season, although both of those defeats, of course, were in the respective finals of the league and the FA Cup. Put it this way, having been knocked out here, wasn't the kindest draw for the clubs that have got to the final in each of the last three seasons, but lost on all three occasions. Laporte. Palmer. That's a lovely play. And, might drop still for Alvarez. I think it's not right, but I think the whistle had gone. Foden wouldn't have counted.
I think the referee saw that as a foul by Phil Foden as he jumped for the ball. It's Good play down that left-hand side. Foden had made his way into the box. Good bit of skill. Gomez, ball played into the box. This is where he thought it was a foul, when he jumps into the back of Koulibaly.
It might just have been so. It's an overhead kick, which is going well. I think Luis Villagra heard the whistle anyway.
Just the way that Chelsea is set up, it does look as though both Man City fullbacks could have the freedom of the park if they switch play quickly enough. Talk about that position of Mount and Ziyech, very narrow.
Stuart, you saw Alisson in goal for Liverpool playing out from the back yesterday. The kind of error that could cost you a place in the next round of the FA Cup. It didn't, as it turned out. There's Erling Haaland in the watching brief. He is named as a substitute. Conversation with Ilkay Gundogan. Dortmund connection there. There's Kovacic running into trouble now. Malakanji. Another who went to the World Cup. Chelsea had 12 away, Manchester City 16. Was one of those who was part of the Spain setup that went out to Morocco, dominating the possession. Death by 1,000 passes, that's supposed to kill off the opposition, not yourself. Spain's involvement and the job of Luis Enrique paid the price for over-reliant on passing football. Gomez. Rodri. Bernardo Silva was in the Mahrez role when the change was made. We had Mahrez on. He was playing on the right-hand side as a left footer, but he did play the first half in the position he's playing today. The midfield man. There's talk of his future being a bit unsettled, uncertain. We have heard that before. Invariably bounces back to be one of the first names on Pep Guardiola's team sheet. Poor. Done by Koulibaly, trusting Lewis Hall, who actually, if you asked him, would prefer to play in midfield, but he's a left footer and tends to be away into the side. Wider area, probably competition for a midfield spot with Chelsea.
Well, I would say, having seen the first 15 minutes here, he's got to look to play forward a bit more often like that.
That's nice play. And now just found the ball stuck under his foot. A little bit too much grass on the had surface for Chelsea to slick that one through, but it was promising. Probably their best little interchange of passing in the game so far.
Because Hall looked to play forward rather than going back to the centre-half Koulibaly, which has caused problems so far for Chelsea. Man City trying to press high up the field.
Walker's throw. It's a risky one, but it ran for Mahrez, and Manchester City have got Chelsea backpedaling here. There's a hefty touch from Palmer. Gomez backs him up. Chelsea got their numbers back. Laporte. Gomez again. He lets it run. Last 5 games, 4 of them have been 1-0, 1 to Chelsea, the Champions League final. And, 3 Premier League wins for Manchester City on the bounce, plus the 2-0 to City here in the League Cup. So it's not a fixture that has radiated goals. There's a lot of tactical thought for Chelsea. Had Thomas Tuchel in charge for a number of those games.
Just saw the possession stats there, as we thought Man City have dominated possession without creating anything so far.
Just that little burst from past Hall from Mahrez.
For Morocco, Ziyech played very wide, didn't he? Almost on the touchline, doing the sort of job that Mahrez is doing for Man City over on this side of the pitch. He's playing for almost an inside right position, Mount for an inside left.
Too narrow behind one, isn't it? And then three behind them near the platform.
If Man City switch the ball quickly, it means that Conor Gallagher's got a lot of work to do to get out to Gomez, and Kovacic has got a lot of work to get out to Kyle Walker down this side. Not switch play quickly enough so far, Man City.
Of course, still suffering without their first choice wing-backs, where they would probably play three at the back. Reece James and Ben Chilwell. Hardly been seen in tandem in the last couple of years. James was on his way back after the injury that kept him out of the World Cup. They both missed the World Cup with England, incidentally. Well, here's Palmer put through, and he's hit the side netting. And you say without making anything, they made something then.
Well, it's a great ball played forward. Palmer makes his run from outside to in. He's onside when the ball's played. Laporte just bends it round. Last defender. Chalobah got caught out there. He just tries to pass it in at the near post. Actually goes between the legs of Kepa, but he's also got a slight touch on it.
Yeah, given. Here is Palmer again.
We talked about teams not having much of a time to adapt to each other. I think that was the case there, because Humphries went into a midfield position. Chalobah almost allowed Palmer to run into what he thought the centre-half position would be, and suddenly he was in.
It can only have been a sort of late training session yesterday, or maybe even this morning, if sort of come in. We've got players who have played in the Premier League game, and it's the vast majority didn't start it. Some came on as substitutes. All sorts of different levels of recovery. It's almost like walking through the shape of the team rather than doing anything more dynamic. And here is Chalobah. Humphries is captain of the Chelsea development setup. He's represented England at youth level. Comes from the West Country, comes from Exeter. And Bashir gives it a right bash for a chase. And Rob Jones, the referee, Ziyech, believing that he was actually brought down. That would have been a big decision if it had gone Chelsea's way.
Well, Gomez was chasing, but the ball was already in almost the goalkeeper's hands when the foul was committed. If it was a foul, it does look as though Gomez may have just slipped. Ziyech wasn't going to get on the end of it. A worrying moment there for the left-back. Good ball by Humphries, played over the top.
Ziyech doing the pressing. Gallagher driving on, forward thinking. And the Havertz, who of course scored the winner in the Champions League final against Manchester City. Getting on for 2 years ago now. This comes Koulibaly. All arm waving and gesticulating. Trying to tuck it around the corner. It would have been interesting that as to whether Havertz would have been onside or not.
I've just watched Manchester City in recent times, and although they're still a very good team, they have looked more vulnerable to the counter-attack. Here's the ball over the top. Yeah, it's just a clip of the heels.
Havertz. Back for City. Rodri, and they've got four going forward here. Alvarez, who burst through, of course, in the World Cup a couple of times very spectacularly, particularly against Croatia. And to Jorginho and Kovacic, letting the referee know about the earlier incident and their opinions of it.
It wasn't a great ball from Alvarez. Mahrez had to stop his run. It was a foul by Hall.
In the League Cup game, Mahrez scored from a free kick. Early in November.
Maybe just a fraction too far out for Mahrez to... Certainly he can get it over the wall and back down again, but to beat the goalkeeper from that sort of distance... He's got a great left foot, as we know. We're looking across for Pep Guardiola. What do you think?
Bernardo Silva's got a decent left peg on him as well.
They're discussing, can we really shoot from this distance, or does it need to be clipped into the box? No.
Mahrez decides to have a shot. Well, that's extraordinary. He's done it to Chelsea again. It was certainly in his range. And Riyad Mahrez, in these 3 games, in a short space of time between these two clubs, has scored in all of them.
Well, it doesn't come much better than that. The question was it too far out? Well, it certainly wasn't, was it? He just wraps his foot round it. Just watch here. It goes down the side of the wall, over the wall. It goes over the wall. Well,
the distance helps you, didn't it? Because there was time for it to go up and back down again.
And it beats the goalkeeper, Kepa. He takes one step across, but can't get there with the dive. It's a brilliant free kick. Gallagher did everything to try and jump and get a block in, but there was no stopping that. Brilliant from Riyad Mahrez. Just brushed the head of Conor Gallagher, just his hairline.
Yeah, could have done with a player with a tighter haircut, perhaps. And maybe Kepa might have got a grab of it, but it was a brilliant free kick. And if there's one man who's the scourge of Chelsea at the moment, it is Riyad Mahrez. Very different goal to the one he got on Thursday when he came in at the back post from very close range.
Not quite sure why you looked at me so closely when you said about short haircuts.
Well, you could look back. Here's Gallagher of the long hair. Kovacic. Sort of response to this. From the team in the darker shade of blue. Manchester City fans, one of the many things they like about Pep Guardiola is that he has come into English football and taken it full on, not just the Premier League. Obviously we know he's desperate, and the club, obviously the manager said it this season, we really have to win the Champions League to make the whole thing totally complete. But the domestic cup competitions, which aren't always taken super seriously by some of the other elite clubs. Guardiola, I know he's made changes today, but that's probably more because of the last game being so close. Here's Foden, who started that game at Stamford Bridge. He's another England World Cup player, of course. Scorer in the World Cup.
That's why Pep Guardiola is probably the top manager. As he said in pre-season, I want to win every game.
Here's Mahrez. This time it's a beautifully delivered crossfield ball to Gomez. Palmer around Gallagher. He's having to do a lot, as you said, Stuart. He's having to go out on the right-hand side, away from the area of the pitch he'd like to be more centrally involved in.
It's difficult with the shape that Chelsea are playing, with those 3 midfield players in behind the 2 that we talked about before, Mount and Ziyech, and Havertz playing up front. For Kovacic and Conor Gallagher, they've got so much work to do defensively.
Play by Cole Palmer. Having to defend again. He's a tall, slender young man. He seems to take everything in his stride. He's lovely technique, moves well. He's had a chance already in this game. Kanji going towards the near post. Laporte going in. Rodri's there. Shot from Alvarez. And Alvarez was aiming for Bernardo Silva. He's now involved. Walker has been involved in this passage of play 3 or 4 times. Central area. It's Walker's ball. Alvarez. That bulldozing style of his.
Good run, good ball played by Kyle Walker, getting down the side of Koulibaly. Couldn't quite get his feet sorted out. Here's the ball that was played into the box. When it hits Havertz on the arm, that's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, he was reaching for that. You can't call that a natural position. And Rob Jones, when he looks at it, I agree with you, Stuart. He's punched the ball away, hasn't he?
He's using his arms, but his arms are away from his body. Under the current laws, this will be a handball, this will be a penalty. And Laporte doesn't foul him, that's another question. I don't think there's any sort of foul by Laporte. He's just jumping for the ball. It has to be a penalty.
He's fearing the worst, and the cheers tell him he doesn't need to look round at the referee. Sometimes forwards back defending are not in a comfortable position, and they don't like marking. They're not toughened to that kind of contest one-on-one. And here's an interesting dynamic. We saw Alvarez World Cup colleague Emi Martinez come up with some gamesmanship.
Yeah, which I didn't like, and I don't like this either.
It's interesting, it's not Mahrez taking the penalty. He's missed a few for Manchester City. So they're not going to the scourge of Chelsea. Julian Alvarez, with almost half an hour gone. With this penalty. Oh, and he nearly got there. Marisa Balaga, well, he did get there, but he couldn't keep it out. And it is 2-0. And Alvarez is back from the World Cup with a successful spot kick.
It wasn't the perfect penalty by any means. Kepa got a good dive in, got that bottom hand to it, but not a strong enough bottom hand. All the antics and all the mind games, Alvarez makes it 2-0. What a few weeks it's been for him. Should actually save it once he gets there. So the bottom hand should get it and push it away.
He got the reach, but not the strength. Havertz, of course, can still point to the fact that he scored the winner of the Champions League final against today's opponents, but I'm afraid the way things are going for Chelsea, his job is to get goals on a more regular basis, and they are struggling. He's got 5 so far. Raheem Sterling missing, he's got 6. They just, particularly since Graham Potter has taken over, been shot shy and certainly goal shy. And now they need at least 2 to take it to a replay. There wasn't much in it, was there, Stuart?
No.
Until the free kick.
I thought Chelsea looked quite threatening on the counter-attack. Man City hadn't made enough chances with all their possession. But at the moment, Chelsea...
Look at the attempts on target, which emphasises the point they're making about Chelsea's inability to trouble the opposition in the aspect of the game that matters the very most.
Well, the worst aspect of their play has been when they're trying to play out from the back down in their left-back position. It keeps going back to Koulibaly. He can't play a forward pass, nor could Hall, and they give the possession so easily.
Ziyech, Gallagher's cross, and Silva coming into a central defensive position to good effect. Jorginho has dropped to the bench. He didn't come on Thursday. Koulibaly. Couldn't name too many strikers who like to come back and do what Havertz was supposed to be doing for Graham Potter. They're much happier trying to get free from a marker in the other penalty area. You will probably remember from your career somebody who did it well, but I can't think of too many. Normally they want to guard the front zone where you, if the ball goes over your head, you leave it to other people, and if it's within your reach, you can head it away without any problem. And here's Palmer, City trying to really seal the deal before half-time.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot of strikers that like to go into that near-post zone and do the job very well. I think of Alan Shearer doing it very well. I've watched a lot of Ibrahimovic over the years, and he does that near-post zone brilliantly. They don't often like to mark.
Going back to Chelsea and Didier Drogba, he was just sent into the middle of the goal area, and so that you attack the ball, you don't have to mark anybody, just deal with the ball if it comes in. He's so good in the air, and he did that very well. Laporte, pressure on Havertz.
It's the only way it wasn't going to be given if the referee thought that Laporte was a bit late on the challenge and fouled Havertz and pushed him into the ball, but that certainly wasn't the case. In this system, it's very difficult for Chelsea to actually win the ball back high up the field because there's always an out ball to the fullbacks.
There's Walker. Alvarez coming in. Put it down to Alvarez in the first place.
Almost a brilliant touch, wasn't it, from Foden? Waist high, trying to play it with the outside of his left boot into the path of Alvarez.
Takes nothing for granted. There's that old football cliche about 2-0 being a dangerous lead. There's a dangerous piece of falling on the ball by Jorginho. Alvarez. And nearly in again.
Koulibaly just about did enough, saw the danger, got across quickly. Chelsea giving the ball away, Jorginho taking too long. Rodri pinches it off him.
Here for another penalty, but the referee's given it just outside. Consternation for Koulibaly. Mahrez has been taking the free kicks.
Chelsea turning over possession. Man City are winning it back quickly. Same again, I would have thought would have been the advice from Bernardo Silva. More difficult to get it up and over the wall this time. He's going to probably go round the wall.
Riyad Mahrez goes again, and it's not catchable. Under the bar, on target.
And he has to go round the wall this time, and that's why Kepa can see it coming all the way. It's a little bit too straight. It's a comfortable save for Kepa.
His main competitor, Mendy, is out with a shoulder problem. Marcus Bettinelli is the substitute goalkeeper for Chelsea here today. Jorginho and Palmer having a push and a shove. Mahrez with the corner, a good catch. There's Balaga. Kovacic. Those surging runs from inside his own half. He rarely is the player who makes a goal or scores a goal, but He's a ball carrier and transfers it to the player who does have the assist. Over 200 games for Chelsea now. Of course, he's got Real Madrid on his CVs. It's nobody's fool. A couple of really successful World Cups with Croatia. He wonders what Chelsea can do in these circumstances. Walker. Nice for him to be back playing in the stadium again. From Rodri. So I don't think Pep Guardiola would be too pleased about. Rodri a bit more purposeful. And finding Mahrez. Got Hall in his sights. And Walker arriving and Foden turns in. And it's 3-0 Manchester City. They're cutting Chelsea apart here. Too easy.
Just look at the timing of the pass from Mahrez. He gets it absolutely right. The switch of play, which we've been talking about. They create the 2v1 in the wide area. Too much work for Kovacic to come across and help his fullback. Foden's in the right place. Bernardo Silva is occupying Hall. So Hall can't come too wide. Goes in again, Hall. He has to, because Bernardo Silva's in a dangerous position. Now the switch of play. Walker makes the run. Kovacic can't get there. Maybe Koulibaly could have come out and tried to block it. He doesn't do so. And Phil Foden just almost standing there. There's the way to pass, the angle of pass. Brilliant from Man City. Not good from Chelsea.
Well, one of the many reasons why the City fans love Phil Foden is that he does score goals. It's his 9th of the season. And in that respect, he outstrips the likes of Grealish and even Bernardo Silva. And that's, from a coaching point of view, if your team scored it, it's a lovely moment. He wasn't at his best at Stamford Bridge when he started. He got hooked. And worse than that, the change worked for Manchester City. And Grealish and Mahrez came on. But they're taking the game and the FA Cup away from Chelsea, the finalists in the last 3 stagings of this tournament. And Graham Potter is learning the hard way about managing at this level. So, newcomers like David Fofana, and of course Benoit Badiashile is a defender, and whether it might be the circumstances for him, we'll just have to wait and see as one of his chosen defenders. Chalobah makes a run here. Palmer went with him successfully. Here's Hall.
Just don't think the shape has helped Chelsea. It's too easy for Man City to keep possession, to switch the play.
It's good work by Hall into his favoured midfield area. Ziyech. Brother Nathaniel won the Premier League with Chelsea. He's now playing for Fulham. Well, we did say at the start, Stuart, that it would take maybe 20 minutes or so for the teams to sort themselves out. One team sorted themselves out.
They played with a greater urgency to close the ball down, and Chelsea almost played into their hands by trying to play it from the back and not doing it very well. Having 6-7 passes, and they ended up with Koulibaly on his own goal line, trying to find a way out.
Here's Ziyech. He scored here in a Chelsea win. Kovacic. Mount's done well. Ziyech, Jorginho, but Alvarez came back, the ball from him. Play on, says the referee, only for a moment. It did look as though it should be a City free kick. For Aymeric Laporte. That's a bit of An earful from Jorginho, I think, on the way back.
It's an arm by Conor Gallagher that just catches Laporte. He's trying to shield the ball. He's not swinging his... He hits him on the chest to start with. It actually goes up his chest into his face. Too much blame can be apportioned to that man there, Conor Gallagher.
He plays aggressively, and he does get more than his share of yellow cards, really. But that's his fault on the right side, because he's got a driving desire, kind of desire that he needs to sprinkle through the club at the moment to get it right. Maybe not as technical as some of the Chelsea midfield players of their golden period, but certainly his heart is worn on his sleeve. Akanji. Again, City here. Foden. So he's had numbers back. That was a risky one from Jorginho.
And he'd given the ball away, so he was desperate to win it back, but he took a gamble by going in with his stud showing.
Studs were, fortunately for him, just connecting with the ball.
These are going to be the awkward moments for Potter in his spell at Chelsea. The players are going to be asking questions at half-time. He's going to be asking them some questions or trying to make changes. And if you're one of the players, you say the formation isn't working. You know, I'm running around trying to close people down, but they've got easy passes out to the fullback areas.
He's unbeaten in his first 9 games in the job, taken over from the St. Thomas Tuchel. And assuming they don't win this one, some story if they do, it'll be just 2 wins in the next 9. Goal before half-time would help. Conceding another one before half-time would just about write them off. And here's Alvarez. Palmer. Alvarez makes a run. He finds Mahrez. And it's so close to Alvarez touching it in. That would have been another typical City move.
Just wonder whether Mahrez needed to play it in the air. Could he have just picked out Alvarez with a bit more precision? And they've given it away again in the same area that I'm talking about. Jorginho can get turned and play forward. Instead, he tries to play it back.
There are inexperienced players at some parts of this Chelsea team, but not most of it. There's men who've helped the club to great success. At the moment, post-Tuchel era is problematic for successor Graham Potter. And injuries, we have to stress again that injuries are certainly not helping him get a settled team. The suggestion was before the injuries that he didn't alight on a settled. He's a manager who's come with a reputation of changing it. I don't think he's ever named an unchanged side since he's been in the job. We're talking about Sterling, Pulisic, James, Chilwell, Loftus-Cheek, and even the young forward Amanda Breuer, who would be an orthodox striker, which they've struggled to field. The injuries are part and parcel. Even at the elite clubs, you don't always have a top-class alternative. And certainly in those full-back positions. I mean, we've seen more of Chalobah in a back 3 than as a right-back. As previous Chelsea appearances. Lewis Hall is a rookie. Promising. These are very difficult games to come into. And the side isn't really moving as a smooth machine.
So there, Mason Mount goes to close down Laporte, and there's just an easy pass out to Gomez. So he's having a moan at the other players behind him, but there's no way that Gallagher could get out there in time. So the front players will stop closing down.
There's Mahrez again. Fouls. It's a tactical foul. In case Chelsea, in a few seconds remain to half-time. Very clear. Well, he'll find something to pick on. It's not necessarily a positive, but I'm sure he will accentuate the positive as well, because once they got going, this rearranged Manchester City team. They have looked as good as any Manchester City team under the Guardiola regime, with Mahrez starting it off with a phenomenal free kick. Yeah, it took a little nick off the ball, but it's still a brilliant effort. Julian Alvarez arriving back from the World Cup, getting himself a rather fortunate penalty in his conversion of it after handball by Havertz. And now Phil Foden putting his stamp on